I'm Ilwan and I'm gonna analyze a poem. Mine is Messy Room by Shel Silverstein. And before I analyze my poem and read my poem, I'm gonna first talk about the author. Shel Silverstein was an American poet, singer-songwriter, musician, composer, cartoonist, screenwriter, and author of children's book. The funny thing is here some pictures of Silverstein and he gives quite menacing look here, but ironically he loves children and he often called himself Uncle Shelby, especially for his early children's book. And later he confirmed that he never studied the poetry of others and therefore developed his own quirky style. And if you see his poem, it's gonna be quite casual and colloquial, nothing like sonnet or Shakespeare's poem. And I'm gonna move into my reading part. Messy Room by Shel Silverstein. Whosever room this is should be ashamed. His underwear is hanging on the lamp. His raincoat is there in the overstuffed chair. And the chair is becoming quite mucky and damp. His workbook is wedged in the window. His sweater's been thrown on the floor. His scarf and one ski are beneath the TV. And his pants have been carelessly hung on the door. His books are all jammed in the closet. His vest has been left in the hall. A lizard named Ed is asleep in his bed. And his smelly old sock has been stuck to the wall. Whosever room this is should be ashamed. Donald or Robert or Willie or... Huh? You say it's mine? Oh dear, I knew it looked familiar. Okay, thank you for listening to my poem. And I'm gonna pause here for a second, so you guys can pause on it and see the pure version of the text. And I guess the poem is very straightforward, nothing hiding, no metaphor. It's a children's poem and it just depicts a kid who happens to realize that the room he has been ascribing to others was his own room. And I'm gonna talk about the type of feet here. It's basically composed of dactyl and anapest. I'm gonna first explain. Dactyl is a type of feet that has three syllables, one stressed and two unstressed. And anapest is complete opposite, still have three syllables, two unstressed and one stressed. The first two lines are just regular dactyl and the rest of the lines are somewhat irregular dactyl or anapest. Dactyl and anapest both are quite similar type of feet because dactyl plus two unstressed syllable in the beginning is anapest. And many of many of the lines in this poem are dactyl with one unstressed syllable in the beginning, which is in between dactyl and anapest. I'll give you that example of dactyl in the line 1 and 2. Whosever room this is should be ashamed. His underwear is hanging on the lamp. Although I found an alternative of the line 2. It could be iambic, but I choose dactyl. But I'll still give you guys an iambic version that I found. It sounds like this. His underwear is hanging on the lamp. But I guess dactyl with three syllables sounds more natural to this poem. Iambic sounds more like in a hurry. I don't like iambic version. And I figured out there's a pattern for type of meter. There's a anapest after every three dactyl lines. For example, line 4, 8, 12 sounds like this. And the chair is becoming quite mucky and damp. And his pants have been carelessly hung on the door. And his smelly old sock has been stuck to the wall. And the last two lines are irregular ones. That is trochee or free verse. I just choose trochee for line 15 because It is a colloquial one that doesn't fit any of the type, but if I have to say, it's trochee, and it sounds like this. Huh, you say it's mine? Oh dear. And the last line, which doesn't fit any type of feet, sounds like this. I knew it looked familiar, and I put stress on new and familiar. And I'm gonna talk about poetic elements. There's assonance, alliteration, consonants. All of them has one purpose: to make the poem more flowing and mellifluous, and more poetic. Line 1 is an assonance, and 5, 6, 7, and 12 is alliteration, and 11 is consonants. I'm gonna read it. Assonance is line 1. Whosoever roomed this should be ashamed. Just repeating O sounds obviously gives more flowing sounds. Whosoever room should. An alliteration of W and S sounds in 5, 6, 7, and 12 line is also gives some kind of repeating and flowing sounds. His workbook is wedged in the window. W sounds. His sweater's been thrown on the floor. His scarf and one ski are beneath the TV. S sounds, and his smelly old sock has been stuck to the wall. Also uses S sounds. And there's a consonant in 11th line. A lizard named Ed is asleep in his bed. Lizard named Ed, bed. All consonants of D sounds. And I'm gonna talk about sound and meaning. Generally, this poem is euphonious with plenty of M sounds. I listed them here: room, ashamed, lamp, mucky, damp, jammed, named, and many others. All of these M sounds gives euphonious sounds, while the stuck and mucky sound gives some cacophonous sounds. Here's some onomatopoeia and phonetic intensive that I found. I'm not sure if stuck is a phonetic intensive or onomatopoeia, but I guess it can fit in onomatopoeia because it gives some kind of seasoned motion feeling. Jammed, damp, mucky also give. Also are onomatopoeia because jammed, if you see the lip shape, it closes your lip and it is jammed. The interesting thing I found here is that stuck happens to be at the end towards the end of the poem is a sudden shift that Silverstein gives. Throughout line 1 till 11, it's just mellifluous, just pure observation of the room. But in line 12, just before he realizes that the room was his own, he puts this cacophonous sounds like stuck, which means seasoned motion, and the seasoned motion indicates means season observing and realizing that the room was his own. This my explanation of using this onomatopoeia stuck in line 12. And line 13 to 16 is a resolution of this observation of the room. And that was my analysis. Thank you for listening. And this was L1.